to the Poetry of Justice Show with JackieRay Phillips here on YikesRadio.com and AccelerateRadio.net. Here on the Poetry of Justice Show, this is where social consciousness meets the arts. And what we do is we select topics that spark the interest and awareness of social diversity, ranging from arts, entertainment, and social justice at large, leaving our listeners thinking and saying,
YikesRadio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are the sultry sounds of my mentor, the Mr. Kevin Nash. And I always give a very special shout out to Mr. Kevin Nash because if it wasn't for his brainchild here being the owner of this proprietorship and YikesRadio.com and AccelerateRadio.net, and if it were not for Kevin and his dream, it would be impossible for me to do what I so love to do here on Saturday nights, guys. Yay! And then I'm going to give a very special shout out to my sister, Miss Lori G, a.k.a. the Benefactor. How are you tonight, Lori G?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good, Sissy. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give a very special shout out to some very more of our sponsorships. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to go out to G Babies Catering, ladies and gentlemen. That's G Babies LLC. And I want you to reach out to my nephew, Chef Mac. That's Chef Mercadio, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to check him out. Now that things are lightening up with COVID and the vaccines, hit him up. Okay, hit him up, guy, on IG, Chef Mac. Ladies and gentlemen, and then I'd like to give a very special shout out to what we call here the Man of Steel on the Poetry of Justice Show. Guys, I just want to give a shout out to WMPJ Steelworks, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for being such an awesome sponsor here on the show. And then, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most recent projects, a very special shout out to APS Muscle Cars, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, thank you so much, Rashid. Now, APS Muscle Cars, guys, we're talking about engine rebuilds, vehicle storage, vehicle restorations. You may have some low riders. You may have some Monte Carlos. You may have some anything that you may want to either store or redo. I want you to check him out. His name is Mimo, ladies and gentlemen. That is MEMO. And you can catch us here every Saturday night on YikesRadio.com and AccelerateRadio.net, ladies and gentlemen. That is us here on the Poetry of Justice Show with JackieRay Phillips. So happy Saturday night, guys. How are you tonight, everybody?
Doing good. How are you, Chris?
Happy Saturday. I'm doing wonderful. Yes, enjoying this Saturday.
Rashid, how you doing?
Good.
I'm doing well today. I'm doing well.
How's everybody doing in Facebook, bro? I guess everybody's doing good. YouTube, Facebook. And of course, Yikes Radio and Accelerated Radio. So, Lori G, how are you? How was your week, beautiful?
I had a busy week. A lot going on at work there. So it's always busy for us in March, April, and May. Trying to figure that out, how to slow that train down. But I made it through, guys. I made it to Saturday. Yay!
What about you, Chris? How you doing tonight, pretty lady?
Oh yeah, I'm doing wonderful. Everything is everything. Work, school, hanging in there. Trying not to act a fool.
So what y'all want to do tonight? Y'all want to just jump in the pool, or we're gonna like skate around in the like shallow waters for a little bit, or we just gonna go full rock? What you guys want to do? Because Rashid has some interesting topics that we kind of want to talk about, and then I know Chris, you've got some things that you want to talk about tonight too. So, what are you thinking, Rashid? Are we gonna go light or intense?
What you got, Rashid?
Well, I'm since I'm being put on the spotlight today, so y'all probably watched the Harry and Meghan interview with Oprah, and how all that unraveled with the racism that is being very apparent and very blunt within the actual royalty that is in the United Kingdom. I think we like mildly saw it during the days of Princess Diana,
Okay.
and now we're seeing it with Meghan. When she married Prince Harry, in which they basically, in their own words, that the royal family had concerns about the skin color and complexion of a little Archie. When he was going to be born, they already said that he wasn't going to get the same treatment as the others, and I don't think he was going to be given a honorary title.
That's not nice. Lori G, did you get a chance to see that interview? Look at Chris. What about you, Chris? Did you have an opportunity? What, Chris?
You know, it's just so ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. I feel like, you know what? That's white people business.
Chris,
I'm sorry because
when people business.
no.
No, you're not having
She
it.
knew what she was doing when she was getting into that. But because she has somewhat of black, which I never knew that she claimed black, at least the stories I read, she really didn't identify with black. Her going there, I don't know, what was she thinking? You know, not even just about her, but that's what they do. They meaning they who go outside of their own folks, and then when stuff go down, they come back to us so that we can help them out. But that's okay. That's just okay. If she gets the help, I hope she gets the help, because she said some stuff that's really, thinking about killing yourself. That's really, you really need some help. And
But I think
that
that
could have
was
ran her.
the whole catalyst for them leaving and coming to America, is that Harry realized that she was kind of living the same life that his mom, Princess Diana, was living, in terms of needing support for mental health issues. And I think they call it like the institution, right? That the institution wouldn't provide that. So I don't know, that I think it's a big glimpse. I have to admit, I don't follow the royal family or anything, and I unfortunately didn't see the full interview. I've just been seeing like those excerpts of it, right? But it was very jaw-dropping, I think, when you heard. I think the part for me is that this is their flesh, right? These are their this is their family. And yeah, it just goes to show you the power of racism, right?
Yeah.
Right. In fact, I think it also points out, in fact, it's not just the power of racism; it's the power of jealousy. Because I believe it was Prince Williams, who is Harry's brother, his wife. I, th- I think her name was Pat. In fact, she look. She just looks evil.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
She just looks evil. She just looks evil. And she was jealous because just like Princess Diana, when Meghan came into the family, people actually gravitated towards her. People actually, actually liked her compared to Kat. Nobody really liked her because, truth be told, I looked at a picture of her and I swear she just looked like she just had just the resting bitch face.
The RBF, the resting B face. I could do it every time. What, Chris?
There rumors I don't remember her name, but that the sister-in-law was not a really nice person, And but it's interesting because Harry has always been that outlier, right? He's always been the one that has been traveling outside of the circle. Something's going on with Prince Harry, which is interesting, I think, which is probably why he got connected with Meghan Markle, with her not being that fantasy storybook type of princess that maybe other royals were.
Right.
Right. And in Harry's words, it felt like a prison inside of those royal walls. And he even said himself, he feels like his brother, Prince William, is also trapped,
As well.
yeah,
Right.
he felt like he's trapped there. And it's like, I feel like the relationship between them is a bit estranged, but he still very much cares for his family even through all of this drama
Right.
that was brought up because of the color of a child's skin, which when you look at Archie, he doesn't even look African American. He looks,
Mhm.
blue eyes, white privilege, just
Little Archie.
yeah. It's like
But I mean, I think we saw that's kind of like Chris says, that is a part of that heritage, right? Of takes us all the way back to slavery, where the slave master would come and impregnate the slave. And we had a whole legacy of mulatto people who were passing, that because they were so very fair, they did pass. So I could see that people were probably, if you're racist, you're worried about that, right? You're worried about how is that baby gonna look. And the interesting part, though, in their interview, they kind of protect the queen. They say it wasn't really her, that it was the people around her. So I guess there is an image or a PR person, or people who manage the palace and the individuals in the palace. So the question I wonder is, how much is that management with external individuals, or how much of it is the actual members of the family?
right, and that's an actual good question because if you look at the actual slavery, dates back, all the ways to our, colonial times when we actually, first arrived here, and we were first under British rule. So like, you could say that the racism was started like a long time ago, during the British Empire, in which they basically stole America.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's basically what they did. Since actual Native Americans were here first, man, they just came here and colonized. And Columbus claimed that he discovered America. You can discover what was already
What
there.
already was there. That's
Right.
so true.
Right, but I believe the racism because the racism starts started there when we were brought here as slaves during the rise of the British Empire, and then even when we actually had the Declaration of Independence and the Revolution, there were still those traces of slavery. And it's like that type of of attitude is always passed down from generation to generation. It, it's passed down from person to person. It usually takes a multitude of people to actually break that cycle
Right.
of just hate that has been perpetuated for um, for almost centuries now.
Right.
Um, when they say it takes a village, it literally takes a village to actually break the cycle of hate for the color of our skin for literally no reason.
That's not fair. We shouldn't have to feel that way.
No.
I don't know.
But
What are
I
you
think
thinking,
I
Lori?
also read, Rashid, I don't know if you heard this, but I also read that the Commonwealth, there's a lot of different countries of which there is British influence that Britain used to rule. And in those countries are primarily people of color. And that this whole interview and the inquiry about the skin color of Archie has started protests amongst those Commonwealth nations.
I've heard about that where in those countries that actually had allied themselves with Britain, they are starting to actually have a protest like in in regards to what was actually discovered. Of course, the actual palace, they're going to have their PR. 'Cause I think William and his wife, I already said that there's no racism here.
Yeah, right.
But
Here in 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 the Buckingham Palace, we don't we observe that they obviously is they obviously exaggerated the truth about what was going on.
Right.
And why Harry was quote unquote exiled from from the palace, and and basically ran away to America, which I think is pretty ironic when when you think about it. It's like you run to America to escape the racism in the UK. In America, that's
when you
One
look at
place you
it,
may not want to go.
you know what? When you look at it, all they have majority of the land they stole. They have the majority of the land and they stole it all. So that's racism in its own self. So they're claiming to be this, they want to be so royalty, you know, jealousy. They're jealous of us. That's why they want to claim, oh, we're royal. I don't know anything about those people over there, but I know that all the land they have, they stole it. you know, and the brother, didn't they have a picture of him with a Nazi sign on his arm? He ain't
That's
trapped.
Harry. That's not the brother. That's Harry. That's the one who went.
That's him.
It's him when he was
It's
in college, I think.
exactly. So what part of that till now, marrying her? What I'm not.
But he says he speaks to that in the interview, and he says that it wasn't until he was able to see the world through Megan's eyes as a person of color that he was able to really understand and see the amount of white privilege he has and how that privilege is being exerted and affected by people affected upon people of color.
I actually found the picture of it too.
Okay, I don't.
Let me allow you to
Yeah,
share, Rashid. Hold on.
Okay.
It still don't. It still is not. It's not
There
a
you go.
legitimate answer.
Right.
No?
It's still not a
But
legitimate,
Prince,
even though
I'm
he.
like, if you went somewhere and you always surrounded yourself by the same things, right? So then you don't know anything beyond that. So if you're always surrounded by white privilege, you don't necessarily know you have privilege, right? It's not until we take you out of that setting and put you in something different that you may resonate toward it. Yeah, there he is. That's Harry.
Was that a phase he was going through, or some sort of
Actually, no.
a film he was doing?
No, this was actually at a I believe at a Halloween party back in 2005.
Okay.
Basically, the royal family went into damage control over Prince Harry's choice of costume at a friend's fancy dress party. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
yeah, that's basically
Yeah.
it. It's like, and this
You
was
know,
on the Sun.
Well, I'm sorry. What were you saying,
Science,
Sissy?
scientific research shows that when people have trauma in their life, it goes for generations.
Mhm.
So all that racism that they had, it went down his bloodline. So that's still in their family. Like it affected us, our ancestral slavery affected us in some kind of way. It's still here. It's still here and it's still happening. Just like on his side family, it's still there and it's still happening. He watched TV he went to the service, he went to a party, so he knew about other people. I don't see how they, I mean, the possibility that he was so shielded that he could not see nothing, but he got a Nazi costume on. How did he see that? But he don't see the other stuff. I don't get that. But
that brings up a question, guys. My question for the table is, can people change? Can you create a level of awareness where you were once anti-Blackness, right? And now you've had an experience and you've learned more, and now you're not. Does that make sense? What do you think? Is that possible?
Yeah, big fact. I think people can change. If they're willing to change, if they're actually willing to actually accept, that
Absolutely.
that they actually did something wrong. If they're willing to actually accept, what they've done in the past, I'm gonna actually try to make amends for it, and actually, I'm gonna actually move forward and actually spread a message of positivity. I can see that, as a positive change, that people can actually change their ways and actually, move in a different direction.
I think so.
yeah, people can change when they recognize they have a problem, like you said. If he recognized that his family has a problem, which he's not going to do because he is a part of that family. So he's not going to straight out say, yeah, my family did this. If he says that and then says that, he wants to make it, he can't make it right just with his wife by marrying somebody Black. She's half Black and didn't reclaim Black,
But I
so.
don't know about that. I have to differ with you on that, Chris, because
Mhm.
she she resonates to her mom. I don't think she claims her dad, and her dad is the one who's white. Her mom is Black, and her mom was at the wedding. Her mom, I always see her with her mom.
But if you look at her history, she married a white. And if you look back at everybody she's dated, they were white, so she gravitated toward who her daddy was.
But because you
No,
date, that's a good question too. So because you date someone white, or you marry someone white, or someone outside of your race, does that mean you're denying your other heritage? I could
Think
be
so.
I could be
I don't
African
think so.
American and still marry someone outside of my culture. That doesn't mean I'm denying, or I don't think that means I'm denying my heritage. What do you guys think?
No,
Go
in fact,
ahead.
I don't
you're
definitely
not.
think.
I don't think you're denying your heritage. There's something definitely going on in your mind when you've done that. You're thinking about something other than, you know, but that individual person who did, it's totally up to them at what they're thinking about. You know, I have people in my family who are married to somebody outside of their race, so I'm not knocking them for what they're doing because, and they talk like they're Black. But when the conversation comes up, when we're talking about racism or we're talking about white supremacists, they don't like to have that conversation. You know, not,
Okay.
I don't know if they're thinking they might offend their person who they're with or what, but if you can't talk about something that not you per se are going through, but your people that look like you, then if you can't talk about it, or, well, I just think this is what I always hear. Well, each individual, it's up to them. They always say it's racism, but every individual person, they don't have to be that type of way, you know, like they're claiming, putting the blame on the person when they are being oppressed and they're having been made a way to afford to do what all they can for themselves, being locked in something and not really knowing how to get out of it.
But
True.
don't you think that's a really big step of enlightenment for Harry to sit down and simply have this interview to talk about his family, kind of candidly, to say that this was an issue that was prevalent in the palace. I mean, I think the alternative would be to just do more of the same, right? We're just going to move away, or you're going to pressure her to deal with it.
I mean, he
Right.
could talk about it, but he's probably talking to his own folks because me, I really don't care. I just don't because it's like, what does that have to do with me? You talking about your people? They stole everything they have. That doesn't what they're going through. He got to work that out. He got to work that out with his wife and his family. Like we have
But I
our own
think it does.
issues.
Go
They want to
ahead.
take everything. They want to take everything to the media, like as if we supposed to say, oh, and fall into this your story, like it's a fairy tale, and the prince have come, and I'm taking you out of my fairy tale because my family is tripping. You know, that don't really have nothing to do with me. My opinion is that don't have nothing to do with me. You know, that's media.
But I think, and Jackie Fisher, who's one of our lovely followers, who's always here, she says that yes, she thinks people can grow and change, and yes, she thinks it was a big step for Harry to take toward that change. I think it was a big step too. I think, Chris, you say, well, what does that mean? What does that mean in totality, right? And for me, what I think it is kind of a place where the world is going to have to find some reckoning, because as you look at the mortality rate and children being born, there's a significant number of biracial children that are being born, not just in this country but in the world, right? And so what happens with that place of you've got intersectionality that's happening centered around race. And so how do we reconcile that? Because that matter, you know what I'm saying? Does a person have to pick one identity over the other? Is that what we feel? Or do we need to develop a new way of thinking that's maybe centered around more humanness?
And not
Yes,
color.
Right. I think
yes.
there's going to come a time in this world, if I'm alive to see it, I'll be alive to see it, in which basically the majority becomes the minority. Like where white people, like they're not going to be as as common. There's going to be a lot more, mixed cultures. There's going to be a lot of African American and Hispanics in the world compared to the Caucasian, ethnicity.
Right.
There's going to come a time and 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 place for that. But with regards to the royal family, there's definitely an actual issue in which they themselves have to resolve within each other. It's just that it's been brought to the public eye. Now Harry didn't actually name drop anybody. He didn't say specifically who said what, but it's just been brought to the world's attention. That's like this has been going on. In fact, this is definitely an issue that needs to be talked about, and and just added to the pot of things that just that needs to be addressed, and that need to actually be reconciled. I think that's basically what the interview did, was just bring light to the situation, add it to the pot of things that have basically been wrong with the world, and it's basically just going to be a drawing of basically what gets addressed first, and what gets a solution first. That's because
Mhm.
the pot itself is
I
it's a
mean,
big pot.
It's simmering, huh?
Yeah.
they 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 flee from where they were. So why I'm looking at this in my way is because I'm trying to see, not even really looking at it, but because everybody's talking about it. okay, you're not going to say who said it, then why even bring it up? Or what are you trying to resolve? Are you trying to have the fight between your family over here? You know, I don't understand what's going on. You came out and you said what you said. So what you're doing, you didn't say who, even if they told us, oh, well, you know, the mama said that about the baby. Okay, well, what we gonna do? That's all we're gonna do, like we doing now. What is that
But I
helping?
think it,
What is it doing for them? I mean, what is happening? What actually is happening? Because they came out. So what's happening? We see it. I mean, racism is still going on today, and we've had so much stuff done. Inclusion, we've had so much stuff done, but we still ain't got reparations. So I'm trying to see what was the purpose, what was the agenda behind this, and what was the purpose? Okay, she had some mental issues going on. He wanted that to be brought out. Okay, but all that stuff they dropping, I don't understand.
well, I think, Chris,
Somebody could
in my
tell me.
opinion, that you have to call in order to get to, I know you're really big on reparations. In order to get to reparations, you have to call out and create an acknowledgement of racism. So I think whenever we can call out that act and we can bring it to that attention, that's really important, right?
Mhm.
And so what does this do? What does this expose? Well, it lets everybody know there are things that aren't right in this monarchy, in this structure, in this establishment, right? And we can see that it's trickled down to the Commonwealth, these countries that Britain is governing, to determine whether or not they still want to be governed by a monarchy that hates them as people of color, right? So I think in my opinion, I think the first step is exposure, right? You pull the cape off. And I think that was maybe a part of Harry's thinking, is that, yeah, I was over here in this place of unawareness, or maybe awareness. That part we don't know. But now I have to reconcile being a white man with a biracial child. And how do I do that? Maybe one step for him in doing that is to say, I've tried to evolve along my racial sensitivity, but the rest of my family has not.
So I have a question. So when you all look at that family, have you ever thought one time in your mind that they had racism? Just look at the whole. Did you ever think that you were racist?
I personally, I looked at their family. I mean, like I said, I don't follow the royals, but I was quite shocked when Harry picked Meghan Markle as a spouse. I mean, I think we talked about it at work, and we even kind of joked like, wow, we can't wait to see what that does for the monarchy, because we knew the mom's Black, right? So I did not see them as a rainbow coalition group. No.
No, you didn't see them as that, but in your mind, because of the history, you knew that they were racist, that they had race, that they were a racist industry. It's an industry because of what they have done. All the land they have, they stole. That's the first thing. We already know that they are who they are. So that's automatic. So because we already know that, what needs to be exposed? We already know they are who they are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, but I just think that I think that perhaps, at least for Harry, he wants to change who he is, right? And that's where, I mean, like, maybe how do you move from someone who wants to be an ally? And it's interesting as to whether or not the minority people will accept you as that ally, right? Which leads me to the next topic, I don't know, which is kind of related. that's bubbling in the news is this whole The Bachelor show. Do you guys watch that or follow that?
Show. No, tell me
I
about it.
don't.
No?
Tell
Never
me
heard of it.
about it. You know about it,
You never
Roxanne?
heard of The
But you
Bachelor?
said the
No.
Bachelor show.
The
I know what show
Bachelor
you're talking about, the Bachelor show, but what has happened?
Chucky says
Oh,
yes, he's
wow.
heard about The Bachelor show.
Oh, Bachelor.
The Bachelor.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
I thought it was something else.
Oh,
Well, it's the same thing, kind of like what we're talking about here with Harry and Meghan. The host of the show, Chris Harrison, said insensitive racial remarks. So one of the young ladies on the show who got, I guess, down to the final rose. So we have to start with The Bachelor being the first Black man Bachelor in the franchise history, right? And one of the young ladies that's getting the final rose, photos emerged of her at a plantation party, right? With just a lot of other white girls at a plantation party. And then what happens is they're like, that's not cool. She was dressed up at a plantation party. I think she was also seen in some like racist other photos. I don't know if it was Nazi photos or Ku Klux Klan photos, something like that. And he's interviewing one of the bachelorettes who was Black, who was from another season. And he says to her, hey, is this plantation party, are you saying it's not a good look in 2018? But but it was a good look in 2018, but now in 2021, it's not a good look. Meaning that back then in 2018, it was acceptable to have a plantation party. And now, because people are so sensitive about race, it's not acceptable. And so that kind of blew Twitter up, it blew everything up about these comments, and they asked him to step down.
What?
okay.
Yeah.
If you could break it all down for us, Lloyd, and let us know in detail what is a plantation party.
Now, from what I'm looking at photos over here, I got it on the other computer. I don't have it on the Zoom computer. I'll probably just actually pull that up on the Zoom computer so that we can actually have pictures of what a plantation party. But I think that the basics of a plantation party. This is a basic photo of a plantation party, so to speak. Basically, you think of of basically a lot of white people dressed in in like frilly clothes from like back in the day, in like a frilly dress that's usually either like pink, blue, or like white. In like this type of fabric, and in which they basically come to this party, and either it's actually like a auction for slaves, or just a straight up party in which they have those that are actually
Hey, Rashid, Google plantation party bachelor.
I see
Our Black
the
bachelorette.
images, but what is the
There it is. Keep
photo?
going down
Plantation
one more
party.
level. You'll see Chris Harrison, but I don't think that's a picture
I
of the
see this, but I
plantation
didn't know
party.
this is-
I
I just want to know like a wording, like what is the definition?
actually
I think a plantation party is where pretty much what Rashid said is that
No.
you are recreating the old South, right?
Okay.
So
So
you're
who's putting it on?
recreating-
Who's putting it on? Who's putting it on?
They didn't say. This happened like when she was in college. So I think this may have happened. It happened in 2018. So like 3 years ago. I don't know who was putting it on, but she attended. There we go. There's the one, but they blacked all the people out at the bottom.
yeah, but her
and
name
so
is
she-
Rachel Kirkconnell.
Yeah.
Is that her right there?
Yes, this is her.
Yeah, the one that's not
She's the
blacked
one
out.
that was on. She's the one that was on the Bachelorette or the Bachelor.
Yes, she was on The Bachelor.
Yes.
And
Yes.
she ended up getting one of the final roses. I don't watch The Bachelor, but my daughter does. So here is the picture. She's in that picture with the plantation people. See how they all dress? They took all their faces out, but they dress in those Southern Belle kind of costumes, you know, Gone with the Wind. Do you guys remember that show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Not sure.
that's the plantation party.
Hmm.
And
Okay,
so the black girl
I'm
who
trying
was
to see.
interviewing with him said, well, it wasn't a good look in 2018 or in 2021, because me as a black woman, if I went to a plantation party, what would I be? What would I go at? Right? And she'd
Yeah.
have to
Feel
go
so
as a slave.
lost.
Housemaid. No, well, that's the nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay,
To be
so
a slave.
let's just walk down the aisle here. So this is a party. This party is given by white people, and the attendees are white people, and the goal of this party was to sell slaves. I'm
No, it's to celebrate the Old South.
just that's
celebrate
just their
the-
name for it. It's like
Right.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I-
To
I'm
celebrate
just-
the Old South
I'm just trying
and
to
the
get
way
in about it.
Celebrate
the Old
MAGA.
South functions.
What's that again, Lori?
I said to celebrate the way the Old South functions.
Okay. So
MAGA days.
so the issue is, old girl right here went to one, and she should have.
Yep. And she was actually one of the finalists for the Bachelor, who was Matt James, who is this brother right here. This is Matt James. This was the actual Bachelor. She was the actual front runner to actually win the actual show.
Okay.
And they
So
took
there you
him
have
off
that.
because of his comments.
Yes.
East side.
That he's the one who said that, you know, like, you guys are making a big deal about this now in 2021, but in 2018, nobody would care that she went to a plantation party.
Wow.
Okay. Well, yeah, they didn't care then, and so now they kind of do, and so
But in fact, I mean, that
moving
also,
on, right?
right, but that also comes back to, you know, of when people, you know, dig up the past to actually come back and you know, haunt you in the future, in the future, because you know how because you've seen the whole, you know, idea of, you know, cancel culture, of, you know, people, you know, bringing up issues that happened in the past that weren't really issues back then, but then they bring them back up now to basically try to cancel you and basically call you out for it now. So, but it's like, you know, but back then it was an issue, but now it's an issue. Like, say, for example, with the Pepe Le Pew being canceled off of Space Jam 2 because of his overall character, in which he was going after the cat, but they don't show the episode in which the cat was going after him, and basically he was running for his life. But they always, you know, play the episodes in which he was actually chasing the cat, in which the cat was, for some reason, in every episode, just found a way to actually get stripes on her back to make it look like a skunk, and he was, you know, basically in love for like no real reason, which is, you know, basically, you know, I'm chasing the cat.
My question is, do you guys think that's fair to release him from his duties because he said that? Or would this not be an issue in 2018?
It probably was an issue. It probably was an issue back then. It's just that nobody talked about it in the open, like media, you know, put it out there like that. But because he's black, again, they have to prove something, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on them shows that you hear about after the fact. Like, they knew all that stuff was going on, but what happened? He made it there. He made it to this, or he made it to that, and you know, I don't really watch it, but you just hear stuff that go on, bits and pieces. You know, this is my first time hearing that, but no, they shouldn't have let him go, because he just made a statement. It's not like he said she was, you know, racist before she did it. You know, he just made a statement. But is that in his contract? that he's not allowed to talk about stuff like that, you know? So we don't know what's in his contract. Maybe he breached his contract.
Now,
Yes, it does.
that question, was this Matt James the Bachelor that was, being scrutinized, or was this the actual host, the person that actually hosts the Bachelor?
The host is Chris Harrison,
Yeah, okay,
who hosts the show.
right.
He
He's the
did
one that
he did, what is that, like TV Extra? It was like a TV Extra interview that he did with this ex-bachelorette. But the interesting thing to me, guys, is that they have replaced him with the ex-football player Emmanuel, is it Acho? H-O? A-C-H-O.
Ocho.
Yeah, Ocho.
Oh.
He's going to be the temporary host. He's written this book called A Conversation with a Black Man. Have you heard of that? It's a New York Times bestseller. Yeah, so that's
Okay.
interesting. Do you think that's going to change, though? Is that going to change the inherent racism, if there was any there at the show, by removing the white host and putting in a black host? Or are those just optics?
Actually, I'm looking at an updated where I'm for the Bachelorette moving forward, he was going to be replaced by former contestants Tyshia Adams and Caitlin Bristow.
Yeah, that's going to be that'll be for the series. But
Yeah.
for their wrap-up show, I think it's called After the Rose or something like that.
Okay.
They have Emmanuel Acho.
Let me actually look that up.
So you're saying that the white host had this conversation with the young lady, just speaking, and they let him go, and now they put a black person in there.
Yeah, for this one episode, and then I think the new host for like the next season of The Bachelor will be two women.
Like
yeah,
he was
just speaking, and they didn't like that he said that.
Oh, okay. They just didn't like him to say it.
He probably was uncovering some stuff.
I mean,
yeah, I thought that was interesting. I don't know.
No.
Say out with
but
the
it kind of related to our Prince Harry and Meghan Markle kind of story. So I was like, let me throw that out there all at once.
It gets wilder and wilder here, guys. I don't know. What were you thinking, Lord G? What do you think? Chris.
And this leads me to another story. This is terrible. This is a really short story, though. I was listening to the news the other day, and I caught the tail end of it. And I just want to know if any of you have heard of this, about an FBI uncovered a police gang, a gang within the Compton Police Department. Their sheriff's department in the city of Compton had a police gang called the Executioners.
Yes,
and
yes, yes, I've heard
they
that.
all had the same tattoo, and arrested and tried, put people in jail and framed them for crimes. That was a part of the initiation to get into this gang.
Yes, I have heard of this gang. They were they're the Executioners. They had to have a tattoo, I believe, of a skull with like a torn American flag on their right arm. I believe it's on the right or left arm, whatever the case. It's been a well-known thing that that basically they usually get a tally done for like each time they actually either book an African American, or if they kill an African American or a just straight up minority in general. They actually get a tally somewhere on their body that
Chris.
To basically
that's new to me.
Yeah.
Yes, to basically have a quote unquote body count. Definitely not exactly new. I've been hearing about it for a while now.
But I think now they're exposed, right? I think the FBI has enough evidence to bring these people, to bring charges up against several members of this organization.
Right.
Yes, correct. Let me actually look up the actual article itself. Compton
And
Police.
it's funny because the names, at least the surnames that I read, they seem to be Latinx surnames. And so it's kind of like you're persecuting people of your same ethnicity, your same race, right? If we assume that this, that the individuals are Latinx, because the surnames are.
Yeah, that's probably some kind of code they in. It don't matter what
I
color
was
you
really
are.
sad to hear that.
When you got these suits on, who you are don't matter. You blue.
Exactly, right? I heard that in a movie. It's like, you're not black, you're not white, you're blue.
Yeah. Because remember
Okay, so
remember the guy who killed himself, the black guy. He was a sheriff or a cop or something somewhere.
Yes, he was a cop in Louisiana.
Yeah, and he killed himself, but he left that letter, wanting to expose what stuff was going on.
Yes, yes. He left a addendum to actually try to expose the fact of the racism that's been happening within that police force, and for a call of change and of mental health that needs to be addressed within the police force, because if you're in the police force, you're always exposed to something new on a daily basis. You're on, like multiples of like 5 or 6 jobs in that one day, and like some of them can be completely different than the other compared to the actual normal actual life. So you're actually exposed to like different beats, a different a type of a dramatic stress compared to the typical American, to where he's calling for those individuals to actually have a evaluation, basically after like every day, to see if these individuals are in the right mental space to actually still be on the job, because these incidents can actually have can actually give cops a PTSD, to where they basically act on a reflex instead of thinking critically about a situation, which could explain some situations, but not all, when it comes to the use of unnecessary force.
Got it. Wow. So Lori, what is happening here? What are the next steps? Are you aware of what's going on with
I
this?
am not. I'm going to have to research this more and bring it back. But I think they're just in the phase of uncovering this and then trying to create accountability through members of this gang. The bigger fallout that I began to think about was, well, what if you were one of these people that they planted the gun on, and you are doing time for something you didn't even do? They blatantly made that up, right? And it ties me back to the conversation we were having about capital punishment. Chris, were you on that show where we
I think I remember something like that.
about the death penalty and whether or not we support that, or we felt that was valid? And so here you have a systematically corrupt institution, right, that is going to convict people inappropriately, not correct, right? And then that person could get life, or even if they don't, the many, many years you can get in prison that were robbed for you for something you didn't do. So I'm sure that we're going to hear a lot more about this story as it unfolds.
I mean, definitely. We've been actually seeing that where someone gets a wrongful conviction for something that they didn't do, and then later on in life, they get found innocent, and then they get a actual retrial, and then subsequently released. But it's like how do you actually repay a person for the time that was lost to them back for like the 15, 20 years that that's basically just been taken from them.
Right.
It's gone. In fact, there's no way to actually get that back. This also reminds me of what happened with Kamala Harris when she was the actual district attorney out here in California, in which her actual office was allowed to be more specific. We talked about this in a past episode when we're talking about when Kamala Harris was actually nominated for vice president.
Yeah.
About her actual track record, in which the lab had over 1,000 individuals who had evidence tainted, in which basically they could have actually been innocent, but because of tainted evidence, they were proven guilty.
Wow. I don't know, guys. It's just kind of rough. I don't know, Chris. Where are you thinking right now? Where's your head at? I know it's so much information.
I would say it's unbelievable, but it's not unbelievable. It's just the change is happening, and what we already knew, like Lori said earlier, it's being exposed. So it is good that all this stuff is being exposed, but what's going to be the result, the end result, or what are we looking for? You're exposed. So do you just say, oh, I'm sorry, and we say, oh, okay? Or do we say, okay, we need to talk about something different now? You're exposed. We knew you were already like that. So now it's time to talk about what's going to be done about it. And we're not talking about going to school or including everybody. We're talking about just for Black people on their own accord. Because it seems like every time Blacks have something or trying to get something, okay, well, we'll do that, but we're going to include everybody else with you. But yet LGBT gets something on their own. Yeah, they might have fought for it, illegal immigrants, they get something on their own. Everybody have been repaid for something or another, except for Blacks as only Blacks. Saying, oh, well, the Blacks got this. They can't say that. They can say, oh, Blacks got this, but everybody else was included with that.
I think for that, basically, it would have to come to a point where we actually have to be unionized and actually be a actual cohesive unit, because there's been too many times where we have an action plan set in motion, but yet we are not together as a people to actually see it completely through.
Right.
Because I honestly believe that because just like the Hispanic people and the Asian people, they actually come together. They actually look out for each other. They help each other out.
Right.
We as a people and as a culture, we sometimes in fact have that crab in a barrel mentality, but would never truly working with each other, actually helping each other and actually being together, especially when it comes to these issues. In fact, there's always going to be a actual division. Now, if we actually come together, maybe, just maybe, we can actually see these changes that are actually for us happen.
Right.
but we have to actually be on the same page and actually be together,
Right.
and not as individuals, no, as a cohesive unit.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Because if we can actually show our actual unity, our solidarity as a whole, we can definitely make changes in this world.
Yes, for sure.
And
I
that's
like
what's
that,
happening.
Rashid.
That's exactly what's happening with Black media and the people that I listen to. That's what they're doing, bringing knowledge that we're doing this. We're going to do. The time is actually now. We have to come together and agree that something will be done. Not going to be, but something will be done. Like you said, yes, we have to come together.
We do. We have to come together
Hey,
as people. I
hey, you
think.
know what?
What's
You
that,
know what? Right
Chris?
quick, did you guys hear
Mm.
about how the Asians are trying to say that blacks are like attacking them? Okay, so remember the young boy who attacked the older guy and he ended up dying. The old,
I'm
so
talking
it was
about
a
when a young African American male attacked
yeah,
this older
I don't
um
know that.
an Asian
yeah.
male. I believe it was in I believe it was like downtown LA. It was like Chinatown.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so the boy, he had some mental issues and he did not know that the person was Asian because he came up from behind. He had a hat on and a mask and glasses, so he didn't know, but he had mental issues going on. So now the Asian community is out like as if because this happened, now all blacks are against Asians. And I was like, you know what? No. I was like, something's going on. I said, something is really going on for them to, be putting that out there like that. And I saw the interview that she was the daughter of the person, and they were like pleading. And I'm like, what are they talking about? That's just like one incident,
I mean,
and I'm,
definitely, that would be a like completely isolated incident that actually happened. Though the Asian American culture, they have faced their fair share of problems. While here in America, especially
Yeah, we
this
can't just.
past this past year because of the coronavirus being called the China virus, and them being called out for something that basically they had nothing to do with, and them being assaulted and ridiculed and actually isolated because of COVID-19, which started actually a year ago. It was like 2 days ago. It was March 11th that this was the anniversary of the actual shutdown, in which they basically were just basically being ridiculed and called out, and actually beaten up by just all walks of life, by just
Right.
people in general, in which they had to actually get help to actually protect themselves.
Right, but I don't think there's very many of that. I think I didn't hear very much like you're saying about black people against, Asians. But I think the media is gonna, in my opinion, hype things up and anything to cause distinction in the black community, Chris. That's just
mhm.
sort of like
Yeah.
what I feel. And I think we can't just always believe the hype. We can't just always believe the numbers. We can't just always believe what they tell us because we already know they've been lying to us since its inception. So
Right. In fact, they tend
right.
to just blow things way out of proportion, make things bigger than it actually is. In fact,
Right.
this was just an isolated incident. Yes, there has been
Mhm.
tension between African Americans and Asian Americans in the past. Yes, in fact,
Korean Americans, right?
yes,
With the whole Latasha Harlan and all of that, just that disrespect we was getting at the swap meets. I'm just putting that out there,
yes,
everybody.
yes, in fact,
And
yes,
black
yes,
women getting beat up inside the Asian nail shop. Did y'all see those videos?
What
yes,
part?
No.
yes, yes,
Oh
yes.
my gosh,
There
yes.
has been tension
Ah,
between Korean American, Asian American, and the African American community. Yes, in
but
fact,
it hasn't just been the
this has
community.
happened.
It
This is
hasn't.
documented. It's in
It's a
It's
fact.
history.
not even. You keep saying community. It's not even against the community. Those are just incidents that happen. But when it started out with the girl getting killed, then all of a sudden, they're beating up people inside the their nail shops and stuff on 2 occasions. And I'm thinking like, well, why is this? And it's like, well, we know when we go to the nail shop, we speak up for what we don't like. You know, if something went wrong when they do my nails and my toes, it's like, I'm gonna tell you, oh no, I don't like that. And then they want to get all combative. I mean, I've had that happen where I spoke up, you know, because hey, I'm paying you my money. So I think because of the pandemic, they're trying to find a way to get paid back because we stopped patronizing, we're their money. We
Turn
stopped
on them.
patronizing
Yes.
them.
See, because then we learn I can do my own. Like me, I ain't been to the nail salon, my jigs, like you said, right shit, in a year. And I got my own, meaning like my own nails, Jackie,
Right.
gel nails. I have saved myself hundreds, probably over $1,000 in the last year. I'm not going up in there giving them my dough, player. I
Right.
said that's just the nails, right? She ain't talking about pedicures.
Right, because because honestly, it's like, you know, if you talk about nail shops, you know, they always, you know, because the actual Asian community, they have, you know, taken that genre of just, you know, mm, of just
Taking
of the
over it.
economic spectrum and actually
Yeah.
taking over it. But we always try to push, you know, a black owned nail shops, but it's like for some reason there always seems to be issues
Mm-hmm.
that actually oversee, you know, those actual black, you know, owned, you know, nail shop and businesses. It's very rare to actually find a actual black owned nail shop that hasn't had any issues where the prices are fair
Mhm.
and the customer service is just phenomenal. Like
Mhm.
you always go to these, you know, to these Asian owned, you know, nail shops because their actually quality is actually good. The prices are fair, and the service is actually, you know, good. For the most part, you'll have
Mhm.
those, you know, those actual circumstances, those, you know, incidents where they actually, you know, they actually, you know, line up, you know, a little bit, you know, too
Mhm.
far where they actually
It's a
in
monopoly.
Mhm.
yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes,
Mhm.
It's a
yes,
monopoly.
yes.
So bad.
Um, uh, uh, where they push too far on the cubicles,
Oh my God, right?
and they cause some bleeding. But then they actually have their little quick fix there, you know, right there. I'm ready to go because of a, you know,
It's crazy.
because
I
of a
don't
mistake.
know.
but it happens. We're
It
all
does.
humans. But then they try to give you a discount afterwards.
Not a discount afterwards.
After the fact. I don't know, guys. I just think there are just ugly times, in my opinion. And some, we got to make the best of it. And I think hopefully here, like Gloria and I and everybody here on the show, we are the show, everybody. This is a cool in-house night. You know what I mean? And we always do our best to bring our knowledge and our research and all of our hard work to the show. And
Right. I
so I
think
think
like
we're doing our part. What do you guys think?
yeah, I think we're doing our part because it's like, you know, what we all want is just to bring awareness and
Yeah.
for people to actually, you know, want to actually join together for
Mhm.
the betterment of just the community as a whole. You know, because we want to improve our communities. You know, one step at a time to where we can actually make real progress.
Yeah.
That's what we
Now,
want.
when you say community, who you meet, who you talk about in community as community? Are you
Um,
talking about like blacks, or you are talking about everybody that live in your area? Because me, I'm not focused on everybody in the area. I'm focused on blacks.
I mean,
I think community has to be, at least for me, community is everyone in my space, you know. I think as I get older, I see us as humans, right? I see us as, descendants of the most high God. And for me to, I mean, of course, you know, it's kind of like your family. You care about your immediate family, right? With all your heart, all your soul, and your mind. But I also have to have some awareness of my next door neighbor family if my child is going to go over there and play with that family, right? So I want good for my family, but I don't wish ill on your family, right? I
No,
think if we grow as a community together, that becomes beneficial for all. That's just my perspective.
mm,
Makes absolute sense. I don't know, guys. What
Right,
do you
man.
think?
It's just
I
a
don't
way
look
to
at it
just
like that.
stop hate. Amongst just the community in general, just to actually bring togetherness. In fact, yes, we should focus on our people first. Like to actually mend the actual brokenness that's in our within ourselves before we even try to actually focus on others. Like I'm gonna just try to
Good, good,
actually,
good.
I'm gonna fix ourselves before we actually try to fix relationships with others.
Somebody else. That's so true.
Yeah,
I think
that's
so.
I agree. I agree with that.
What
And
about you?
of course, where you live at, of course, the people that you're in your surrounding area, we don't have hate for nobody as blacks in general. We normally are caring for everybody. Look how long, 400 some years, we still walk around and say, okay, they done our ancestors all the way up to us now. People we know who have been dealing with my own self. You guys probably dealt with something in some type of way, and we're still going through it. And it's like when it stops when we say it stopped. So I say it stopped. So I'm looking for collective as blacks as a whole. Everybody else can come after that. Family, yes, our family. We do take care of our family. That's automatic that we take care of our family, no matter who it is. If you're my family, you're in my family. But then when it comes to everybody out there the blacks that don't have, we have to try to do something. You know, we have to try to do something because they keep getting ran over, even though, we could be doing good for ourselves, but we have to try to help somebody else that's black that they don't either know or they too scared to say or they think that, they can't do because somebody else won't let them. We have to try to get their mindset change that. But if we're not, we're doing content now to make people aware. So that's a good thing. But for me, it's like we have to.
We have to do it. We're doing our awareness part. We're letting everybody know what we can do. I don't know, guys, but this is my question to you. Just gets better and better. So, you are a parent of a 5-year-old child, and you're sending your child to public school, as per usual, if you would. And you get a report from your child who's traumatized that their teacher forced them to put their hand in a commode and touch human feces as a form of punishment or correction to this 5-year-old child. Okay, so you're the parent, you're 5-year-old,
That's absurd. Mm-mm.
and your 5-year-old child is black, and this teacher that forced your 5-year-old child to do this is white, and you're black, all black.
That scratch was perfect. You know what?
Yikesradio.com.
Mm-mm. I'd have been at
Okay,
that
I
school
don't.
so
Nobody's
fast.
saying nothing.
I think
Everybody's
I'm going
quiet.
to jail. That's what's going to happen.
Yes,
I
something's
think I'm
going
going
on.
to jail.
Somebody. Ugh.
When asked, she said
Did
she didn't
that
know why.
really
But
happen?
we have to pull this up. Let's pull it
Yes.
Hold on,
up.
hold on, hold on, hold on.
Yeah, she's gonna get the data. No, but for real, for real. Go ahead, Chris. Tell us what you know.
Man, when I heard that, when I seen that, literally, I had like water in my eyes. Like, I have nieces and nephews that age. My granddaughter is 6, you know, 11. And I'm thinking, I got nieces and nephews and great nieces and nephews that are that age, and for you to tell this little boy he's damaged. But I think racism, white supremacy, that's what that is. I'm going to teach him something. How can you be a teacher, an educator? Well, see, that's just
Hello,
it.
hello. What are they teaching him? What did he do? And why was this the sanction? She or he had to have some rationale, right?
He went to the restroom and used too much toilet paper, so she made him stick his hand in his own shit and pull that toilet paper out.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Along with the shit, with his bare hands at that.
No.
You want me to do
And
the
then
honors?
I don't know why she did it.
Are you do the honors?
I mean,
Rashid's going to do the honors tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and let us know why this the story behind feces in a 5-year-old child.
So an elementary school teacher in North Little Rock, Arkansas, has been accused of having a kindergarten student pull toilet paper out of a clogged toilet with feces in it with his hands. The boy's mother, Ashley Murray, said on Tuesday that her 5-year-old told her about the incident over the weekend. His teacher at Crystal Hill Elementary School reportedly told him to clean up the toilet with his hands because he had used too much toilet paper. Murray said she was shocked when he told her, and it would obviously bother her son. This is unacceptable. Murray spoke with the principal on Monday and had her son moved to a different class. She said the teacher has apologized, but Murray said he wants more than an apology. I feel like she needs to be trained, suspended, or terminated or something because that's unacceptable. I want my son to be in a safe environment, a good environment. Pulaski County Special School District said in a statement Tuesday that it is actively investigating and the teacher has been placed on administrative leave. Employees across the district work hard every day to create an environment where students feel safe and protected. The boy's grandmother, Tammy Murray, said in a Facebook post that the teacher did it to degrade and belittle him, either because he is Black or she didn't like him. I don't know if it's racism or pure dislike for him, but something isn't right. And PSA, this is what Tammy Murray said. I have been struggling with this since yesterday. As I was on my way to a meeting, I got a phone call. It was my middle daughter. Mother, I have something to tell you, and you are going to get very upset. I said, okay, tell me. She said, Ashton's, my grandson's teacher made him put his hand in the commode and clean out his feces and tissue because he stopped up the commode. I said, what? I told her, let me get off the phone. I had arrived at my destinations. Oh my God.
Wow. She had a lot to say.
Yeah.
She's got a lot to say, guys. But I mean, at the end of the day, what are you going to do, guys? Now we're in the studio. Rashid, your baby calls you Lori. Lori G, I need to know. Gabriel.
Girl, like I said, I'm going down to the school and I'm getting into a fight with this lady. Me and this lady, they're going to be watching. Watch your head, Miss Fisher, is what's going to happen because they're going to have to call the police to get me off of her.
Please don't call me. Please don't call me and Chris to town. No, Chris, please don't call us out there, Chris.
Oh no, give me the address.
If the principal's stepping away, whoever he or she is, they better watch out because you know what? You're gonna feel the wrath.
Right. I don't even know how to process that. I would just go right. Just
it would just come to the point of okay, what is this teacher's address? I will find it myself.
Exactly.
I will catch you outside in these streets. And you're gonna catch these hands in these streets.
You're gonna catch these hands in front of your classroom. That's where we're gonna be, right there. So there's no ambiguity. It's you right here.
I mean,
is this a form of racism? Is this what is this classism? What ism is this?
I mean, the teacher is on administrative leave, so he's
with or without pay. I need to know.
Without pay.
Without pay?
Yeah, without.
You promise?
Okay,
because I was asking Miko. Miko didn't know.
They need to be fired.
Period.
Yep.
There is.
Need to be fired.
To me, it's beyond racism. This is child abuse. That's what this is. This is a form
of child abuse. It is. I'm putting the notes.
It is.
Because that's traumatizing. That's traumatizing.
If this was a private parent, if this was a parent who disciplined their child by making them touch feces, that child would be removed by social services. So to put this person on administrative leave without charges and without a complete firing is harboring and promoting child abuse.
Jackie says that in our Facebook feed. He was just saying, you know what I mean, that she would never work again. You know what I mean? You'd have to get her. You have to get her. It's a wrap. You know what I mean? Huh, Eric Board, Jackie, they like, nah, ain't nobody having that. That's Whoa, Chris. I know, Chris, you was very upset about this. So, Chris, when you heard those headlines, where did you go? I mean, like, what was your thought process? You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, what is this?
She gonna have to catch a body.
Yeah, I was.
She gonna have to catch a body.
The first thing I did was text my grandbaby, and I sent her a couple of paragraphs and told her, and I'm not playing. I told her, you can talk to your mama, you can talk to your daddy. I said, but you will, and I laid it all, everything out. If this happened, this happened, this happened. I said, and when they say you're going back to school, believe me, I'm showing up, because we not just looking out for other black children.
Hold on.
Yeah,
hold on. We need to show up.
Look at this one right here, y'all.
Is that her?
That is, and mine's so not even surprised.
Oh my gosh.
What you say, Monique? Monique said she would not be even able to work when I got done with her. Man, I would like to try to. I would hope I didn't see red or black when I heard the story. I would hope that my diabolical side could kick in. I'd have enough to not react and then just plan out some shit for this female. Just some.
I don't know.
Some medieval shit.
I would freaking take her to a basement.
Jason shit.
Oh no, I'm taking her to a basement, chained up.
You and your Michael Myers.
We're breaking fingers. One by one.
I cannot.
One by one.
Oh.
And we getting the pliers.
I know.
No, what we doing is
pliers for the nails.
Look at her.
We are filing charges of child abuse against her.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing.
Yes.
And we're trying to proceed with criminal action after I beat her.
Laster.
After that, then we would, and I would have to go up for charges of assault, but that would be perfectly fine.
Yeah,
I would sit in court and accept my punishment for the assault.
Yeah. So what I did was,
hey, someone gonna pull up a GoFundMe to actually bail you out.
On the other black
Rashid
media,
and I will be the administrators of the GoFundMe account.
on the other black media, what we've been doing is calling that school. She needs to be fired. Calling that city where they are, for that district attorney, child abuse. That's exactly what we've been pushing for, child abuse. And it's just not right. Other black children that have been going through stuff with police is just don't make no sense. They have this line called anti-black activity database.org, where if you see something, you can put it in there. They have some stuff in there, and because we're here, because all this stuff is like, other states down south. I said, you know what, if I could just tell somebody, when they start opening these schools up, we need to show up hard, letting these people know that every black child here got somebody in back of them, whether you're my child or not, but I'm here and your child is my child, and I understand that there's all children there, but the black children are the ones that I see, what I see is happening, it's happening too. So, and I told my grandbabies, whenever they open them schools back and y'all have to go back to school, I'm going to be there the first day. And then I'm going to pop up whenever I want to, and that's what we have to start doing, is popping up to these schools, letting them know these are not broken homes. Just because it's one parent in the house, that don't mean nothing. Like Rashid said, a community, a community that raises their children together. What's that saying? It takes a village. It's going to take a village, because that's what's happening. They think the village is broken up, and the village is not broke. With this kind of stuff going on, I just can't see it.
So that's in Little Rock, Arkansas, I think, right? Chris, that's in Arkansas.
I think a lot of stuff like this, people have gone on. I think what happens is you're hearing more about it because of the easy accessibility of the internet and of cell phones and of capturing of information and Facebook and social medias. But it's rough down south. It's definitely rough down there. And I think we get shielded a bit because we're on a liberal coast. California is such a blue state, but there's probably some even crazier stuff than this going on. But I agree with you that it takes a village. That's how I raised my kids. That's how Jackie raised her kids. I'm down at the school any day, and I'm not making a reservation. I'm gonna go do and get my fingerprinting and do my background check the first day of school, so that I'm clear to be able to walk this campus whenever I show up. There's no hurdle or balance there. And I think the call for our community has to be, and it's not, I think children, no matter what color you are, children are the most vulnerable little people ever, right? Because they don't have a voice. They don't have a voice unless we provide one for them. And people do all kinds of things to children. That's terrible. Yeah. Wow.
Yep. And
I can't imagine that. And the best they could do was administrative leave.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, with school districts and you got unions and you see what I'm saying? At least I just wanted to know, was at least with or without pay? Because that does make a massive difference, in my opinion. Administrative leave with pay is like, oh, you're on vacation. Versus administrative leave without pay is like, oh, you're going to feel that.
I mean, that sounds like, with these police officers, with like George Floyd, with the, Ahmaud Arbery, with the Breonna Taylor, all these officers being put on, administrative leave without actually receiving actual, punishment.
Right.
I know with the George Floyd, they just reopened the actual the
Third degree murder.
Yes. They just reopened that. And I think they actually got a settlement for like 20 mil, I believe. But now they have to go through the struggle of finding a jury, a panel of jurors who are going to be unbiased, which good luck with that.
I know. I just, and that, even with that, you don't want to with the Rodney King history for me, I don't want to go into this thinking like, oh yeah, justice is going to be served. Because I totally thought that before, and it totally came back and bit me in the butt. Well, and it's sad that I have to hold on to my butt and I feel like justice is going to be served, because if justice is going to be served, then we would know like, oh, well, yeah, it's going to happen. Right. But we can't bank on that, guys.
Right. But that also, goes back to the days of, because it's like, the justice system, let's be brutally honest. The justice system was never really, in our favor to begin with. It was never in the African American favor, because we've been charged with like petty crimes, and yet someone that charges that gets charged by the same crime, they get less time compared to us. We almost get life for basically an ounce of just marijuana.
Isn't that crazy?
Back in the day. Nowadays, you can actually have legal marijuana
in Cali for sure, right?
Yeah. Guys, Jackie Fisher in our Zoom room says that teacher would be touching poop in her mouth if that was her child.
And the kisser.
Tell us how you really feel, Jackie.
Oh God.
Like, please don't hold back.
Now, would that be fresh or would that be, gathered?
I know, right? That's really horrible, guys. Yeah. I don't know. I just think that's something. I don't even know, like you said again, what do you even do with that? I think, like Chris said, we keep going, and we just write letters and we send things to their Congress and to the school board and to the Senate, and we don't give up, and we just be perseverant.
We do things the right way, but when the right way don't work, we go the street way. We serve street justice.
Vigilante justice. We did a show on that. We got to do another show, guys. Vigilante justice.
Vigilante justice.
Kind of can dig it, but
Chris, did you have a story that you wanted to talk about that was looking at African American children?
Say it again.
I said, did you have a topic you wanted to put on the table to talk about with?
So that was the one I was talking about the little boy, but just
okay.
But the awareness was just about, because he's not the only one, because they've had, you know, back down there south, a couple of children, you know, in school where these police, like the little girl who 9 years old gets sprayed, she's handcuffed in the back of the car and gets pepper sprayed by a police, you know. And there's another one that I can remember one that happened in 2015. Remember, and the cop in the school cop, the little girl sitting in her chair and she wouldn't leave the class. He went and
he slammed her to the ground.
That one,
that's the shit.
you know.
Oh yeah, when she was causing a like disturbance in the class, and then like basically with the unnecessary force that the obviously bigger male cop, you know, basically thing was slammed her into some desk and then slammed her in onto the floor.
Yes.
I remember that.
And basically dragged her out.
Yes, and then not just that incident, but the 9-year-old, or I think she was 9 or 11, in the back of the police car, handcuffed and gets pepper sprayed. You know, and it's like, what in the world is going on because of some disturbance at home, you know? So then that just makes you wonder, like,
I actually have the video.
We're gonna watch the video, guys. All right, turn around, Facebook view.
This is the video of the slamming.
No, of the pepper spray. I can probably find the video of the slamming.
Oh my God, am I ready for this?
Maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna be ready.
After the girl was handcuffed, but before she was pepper sprayed, the officer returned to the home and confronted the mother. The mother was apologetic.
What are you doing? You're concerned about your daughter running down the street, suicidal, homicidal, and you're gonna start a fight with people in a van?
Sir,
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I gotta run after your daughter.
You're right.
I gotta fight your daughter. And you're busy fighting with somebody in a van.
Right, I apologize.
What the heck's wrong with you? You apologize? No, I gotta do paperwork why I put down a 9-year-old girl to the ground.
This video is not about the mom. This is about the police using violence against a 9-year-old black girl. That's what this is about.
Elliot Shields is the new lawyer for the girl's mother. He's also one of the lawyers for the family of Daniel Prude, who died after he stopped breathing in Rochester police custody last year.
They wouldn't do this to a little white kid. They wouldn't do this to any of their own children. I'll tell you right now, if any teacher did that in public school, they'd be fired and they'd be sued.
I want to take you straight to the moment the 9-year-old girl was pepper sprayed. This is the body camera video of the female officer who is face to face with the girl.
Okay, come on. Put your feet come on. I will get your dad. Otherwise, you said you were gonna pepper spray me. No, please, no, stop. Sit back. I got a bad arm. I do not know. I have a bad arm. Dropped it. Can you pick it up for me? I don't care. I haven't even touched her too.
RPD suspended one officer and 2 are on administrative duty. The video takes us inside.
I need something. That is somebody's baby, ladies and gentlemen. You hear what I'm saying to you peoples?
Exactly.
Look at, I can't. See, I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Why did
I know,
they
Chucky.
her? Isn't she in handcuffs in the car?
Yes.
I think they must get some kind of sick thrill. If you understand, I say sick, but they like violence. They like hurting and just destruction and something wrong with that.
No,
You
they want to
understand
try
what I'm
to show
saying?
their. They want to try to show their authority.
What?
That's why they call
Why
it
you gotta
rape
hurry?
bait.
It's a baby. Pick up
But it don't
somebody
matter.
outside. You understand what I'm
Remember, it
saying?
don't matter. They want to. They don't want them to come into who they are. So they got to
Dehumanize
show
them.
them. Yeah, So, because why? And
They
then
gonna
you
do that to
yelling at the
somebody,
mama.
baby. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. They come with the bullet, with
I mean, I
the
think
stuff.
you can just saw the beef was that she needed to put her feet in the car. I'm
Yes.
still trying to understand what the cop
Like, what did
wanted
the
her
baby
to do.
even do?
Yeah.
Right.
What
Put
is
her
she
feet in the
supposed to
car.
do?
Yeah, so basically, from what they're saying is that basically her feet were actually not in the car. She wasn't getting in the car. She was quote unquote being uncooperative.
Okay.
And so they basically pepper sprayed her in order to actually get her into the back of the squad car. Kind of a messed up way to do that,
Yeah.
They could have got her
They
in the
coulda
back of the
got
car.
her.
Just pull her in there. Push your feet in there. Her hands are cuffed.
Okay, so I have another video.
Oh, this is overwhelming.
This was the cop by slamming a teen girl. There
The
was
teen
one.
girl.
There was, and this happened, I believe, 4 years ago. There actually one that's more recent, actually.
Yes, one just happened recently.
I'll go to that one later, but for right now, I'll show this one. This is courtesy of a CBS This Morning.
Okay.
Of a school police officer body slamming a female high school student has triggered outrage in a North Carolina community. Cell phone video shows Rollsville police officer Ruben De Los Santos yesterday picking up the 15-year-old and throwing her to the ground. He was responding to a fight between two other female students at the town's high school near Raleigh. Vladimir Dutier of our streaming network CBSN shows us the fallout. Vlad, good morning.
Good morning. Oh boy.
Okay. See,
That
I
took
don't
my breath away.
understand. She's so tiny. Not that that would matter, but she's fragile.
She's literally like literally 80
I
pounds soaking
know.
wet.
Lori G, you must not have seen that. Did you see that, Lori?
No, I had not heard of that. I'm seeing it for the first time now.
I know, but I mean, so what do we do?
I don't know.
We show up at the schools.
Yeah, but my thing is, I don't know. Oh my gosh, that just got me.
Okay, and I have another one for you.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
There's been like 2 this year.
Yeah. I think this is one of those. So brace yourselves.
Okay, here we go, guys.
Yesterday at Liberty High School, News 6's Mark Lehman's been following the latest on this story and joins us live with more on what he's learned from the sheriff. Mark.
Yeah, the main point the sheriff wanted to get across is that his office has zero tolerance for any use of excessive force. And because of that, he's now ordering a state criminal investigation into the conduct of one of his deputies. Something coming after video of yesterday's encounter surfaced online, which some may find disturbing. Now, in the short clip, it shows Deputy Ethan Fournier slamming a female student onto the concrete at Liberty High School. The 10-year deputy is then seen placing the girl in handcuffs as she remains motionless on the ground. All of this happening as another deputy stands close by. Well, today, Sheriff Marcos Lopez addressed the encounter, saying it happened after the teen was trying to fight another student in the hallway. Regardless of the situation, though, Lopez says there needs to be transparency to determine if Deputy Fournier's actions were excessive. For that reason, the investigation is now being handed over to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
They're going to conduct a criminal investigation. They're the ones that are going to review any type of evidence or any type of videos that are out there. We want to make sure it's a complete, thorough investigation without my influence in this case.
Evidence. I don't understand. What do they? Evidence. They just said 2 children were fighting at school.
So why are you
Stuff
getting
like
a body
that
slam
happens.
on damn body? That's crazy. I don't know.
What kind of evidence? What would he deem as evidence? See, that's that trying to take up for your partner already before it even get you put it in the media already.
Well, he's gonna do that, Chris. You know what I'm saying? He's got to.
Of course.
Let's see.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
What is this,
Guys,
Russian?
what does this say in a climate where Black Lives Matter, people are picketing, they're protesting, they're burning things up, but it seems like we're not making any treadway. We're not We're not progressing. I don't know.
We gotta
I don't
keep
know.
doing it. We got
We just
those
gotta
of
keep.
us who are. We gotta keep doing it. I mean, there's only we're not down in the South, but no, we start here, it'll hit the South. They're the people that or the black media that I look at who are back in that area, they are doing stuff. You know, they are like not just protesting, but calling, calling schools, calling, whoever the governor or secretaries or whoever in the school board or whatever, calling them, sending letters, sending emails, even me out here, doing that out here for them out there, but it's like, okay, well, I'm here. So what can I do here? And I figure make ourselves be known to these schools when our children go. We have
I
to.
think we also too have to hold accountable the school boards, right? Those are elected
Yes.
officials that hold those positions. I think we have to
Yes.
establish a level of accountability for the superintendents of these schools that
Yes.
allow and tolerate this type of behavior. There needs to
Yes.
be a zero tolerance for these types of incidents.
And I think there should be immediate. I mean, well, I know they got to do this investigation thing because they're going to say, oh, the footage could have been, manipulated or this, that, and the third.
Right.
But I think it just need to be just swift and certain execution. I know I'm pretty being dramatic, but you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
There need to be like a blanket blueprint. Boom, boom equals that.
Right.
And
There's
the feds need
just
to come in.
just basically just based on on what we've seen, it should be a straight up easy verdict of straight up what needs to happen.
Right.
That person needs to, one, lose their job. Two, pay a fine to the family for one for just medical costs and for and for mental damages that have been done to that child.
They need to be put in jail until it's all over, until whatever's happened.
And that's what I'm talking about, Chris.
They're gonna put a parent in jail if something happens,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh,
So it's
absolutely.
Doing the investigations.
You did that to my child, and you think because for years, how kids fight at school.
Yeah.
Well, no, right. It was Toronto time with Black police in our
Right. And it's like, I mean, I get it because it's like, yes, kids fight at school, and sometimes, those fights can actually turn deadly.
That's true.
And fatal. So, certain schools actually have those officers there to actually break those up, to actually, stop, any further violence from happening on the school grounds, because if it happens on school grounds, then that school district is actually responsible for what happens. Now, I think the main issue that's been happening here is that these officers, okay, how do I say this? They've basically taken their jobs too far. They're basically doing their job, but they're doing it to an extreme. Instead of preventing harm, they end up causing harm in the process.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, Rashid. I don't know. I just don't think that anytime, you should be manhandling a child. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Unless it's violence against an officer, but you know what I mean? I'm just saying there's all different circumstances, but this isn't violence against the officer.
I mean, he picked up a 40-pound girl and slammed her on the floor.
On the ground.
The second clip, she definitely was like, 120.
I know, that's a little thin child. Somebody's child. That's the thing I keep saying. Somebody's baby. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that just wouldn't go over well with me, ladies and gentlemen. I just don't know what we got to do here. This world we
I know,
are
but
in.
the parents, they are, calling for actual justice. More than likely, just like, the actual status, protocol, that officer has been put on administrative leave. While they do the investigation.
I know. I don't know.
I don't know
about
the
this.
details, but I'm going to assume without pay.
Right.
Again,
okay.
that's an assumption, you know.
Uh-oh. Okay. At least we know that. Do the research.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
It's horrible, but you guys, we just can't go down to the ground. On the get down, when we go out. You guys, we got 15 more minutes here tonight on Poetry of Justice Show. I know. You want to lighten the mood a little bit, Mrs. Fishers? What do you guys think, Mr. Phillips? Or do we want to just keep the mellow tone? What's the
Jackie Fisher says she would body slam the officer. That would be her response.
Nana's catching a case. The feds
She
are
is.
coming.
Case after case after case. I have something that's a little lighter that I heard on the news. And Rashid, this might be of interest to you. Did you guys hear the artist The Weeknd is boycotting the Grammys? And
Yes,
has
I
requested
actually.
that none of his music be submitted to the Grammy anymore.
Oh my God! I just
I
talked
didn't
about
hear
this.
that.
I had
Yeah.
just talked about this earlier. So, yes, the weekend, he's basically going to be pulling himself out of the actual Grammy Awards. He will not be attending. Neither will he be performing at the Grammys. Let me actually get.
Well, good for him.
All righty.
I'm gonna get the actual news article because I know there was some outrage for Justin Bieber talking about, you know, how he's not in any of the of the R&B category, saying that his latest album was R&B, talking about he's classified in pop. I'm like, bro, like all your music
Wait
has
a minute.
pop.
Wait a minute. The Weeknd did this because of what?
Now,
No, he did it because the Grammys did not nominate him in any category, and his latest song went triple platinum.
Oh, okay.
So how do you have a triple platinum artist that isn't nominated, period, at the Grammys?
Yeah.
And I
He just
heard, I don't
wasn't the
know
right color.
if this is true, Rashid, but I heard on the news that there are no Black voters for the Grammys. Did you hear that?
Oh,
I haven't heard that, but let me give you some information
I can
on.
believe it.
Chris, you says nothing shocks you.
Okay, so for the weekend, the event on Sunday will address the challenge of the music industry hit hard by the pandemic. The Weeknd, who was snubbed, says he will boycott the awards going forward in a sign of continuing friction with artists. When music fans tune into the 63rd annual Grammy Awards on Sunday night with Trevor Noah as host and performances by nearly 24 stars, including Taylor Swift, Cardi B, Dua Lipa, and BTS. They will see the music world coming together in celebration and friendly competition after a grueling year. Beyonce, who has 9 nominations, will be aiming for her first win in a major category since 2010, while Swift has 5 nominations connected to Folklore, an album made entirely in quarantine. The show will also address the pandemic's painful impact on music with an extended in memoriam segment and a spotlight on the independent venues that represent music history, but which have suffered devastating blows after a year of lost business. But behind the scenes, the industry is waging war for the soul of the Grammys after years of accusations of bias against women and Black artists and complaints over an OPOG voting system that critics say is unfair and out of touch. Every year, there are winners and losers, but this year's biggest controversy highlights the way names get on the ballot in the first place and involves The Weeknd, the Canadian pop star whose sleek, high-concept earthworms like Blinding Light have broken chart records and drawn wide critical acclaim. Last month, he also played the Super Bowl halftime show, perhaps pop music's biggest big tent moment. Yet, when it came time for Grammy nominations, The Weeknd got nothing. Why scrutiny has zeroed in on a little understood part of the Grammy process, the role of anonymous experts committees, which review initial nomination choices by the thousands of music professionals who make up the voting membership of the Recording Academy, the nonprofit group behind the awards, and for 61 of the Grammys, 84 categories have to have the final say about who makes the cut. To the Grammy leadership, the committees are a check and balance step to preserve the integrity of the awards. To suspicious artists, They are unaccountable star chambers that can subvert the will of the voters. For the weekend, the entire process has proved unacceptable. In a statement to the New York Times, he said he will boycott the awards from now on because of the secret committees. I will no longer allow my label to submit my music to the Grammys.
Wow.
So
Okay.
now the only thing he need to do is get with everybody else that got money and create their own Grammy and create them instead of looking for I want the white people to like me. I want them to put me inside their circle. You know, get on up out of there.
What do you guys think about the situation with Ice Cube and Warner Brothers and him wanting to do? Have you heard about that?
You want to do another Friday?
Yeah, and Warner Brothers.
Oh, I thought he didn't want to do it.
No, reports. He wants to do it, but they're not giving him the rights to it. Let me look it up.
Yeah, I don't think they're giving him the rights. And plus, with the passing of Debo, of a Tiny, it would be only appropriate. But yeah, The Weeknd joins the list of black stars: Drake, Kanye West, and Frank Ocean, whose public rebuke of the Grammys are a threat to the institution that views itself as a supportive house for the entire music community. Meanwhile, at the Grammys, they'll have Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, Meg Thee Stallion, Post Malone, Roddy Ricch, Coldplay, Ham, and Janae Aiko.
That looks like it's going to be a really good lineup, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
I
don't know. I won't be watching it.
Yeah, I haven't watched in eons.
I haven't watched it in.
I don't know.
I haven't watched it in a long time. It just, I don't know. Once the Soul Train Awards went off, it was like, that's over.
I know, but there's a new era, right? A new era.
Yeah.
You have to.
No, but I need to give The
give
Weeknd his credit. And like these artists, they need to give artists the actual credits. And it just seems like it's always the Grammys, because here's the thing. Out of all of the award shows, because you got the VMAs, you got the BETs, you got all these award shows, but the Grammys are always the ones that actually stand on top. Those are the ones that's like, you are known for it. If you have been nominated for a Grammy, you have made it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You made it to the top of the white list.
Wow.
Yeah, you made it to the top of the white list.
I think they need to start thinking a little bit more like Samuel L. Jackson when he just realized, FUCK them with regard to an Oscar. I don't really give a, you know what? I know I'm good. I know I'm a good actor.
Yes.
I don't really need that validation.
Exactly.
But would it be good to have it, or is it just, I don't know, Laura, I see a little bit of a look on your face. What are you thinking here?
I don't know. It's hard because I see both sides of that fence, right? Is that, okay, do I really need this external validation? No, my music is good and the people support that music, right? But the other side of that too is that, as you say, Chris, this white establishment is the establishment that funds projects, right? That allows you to earn your label or your brand to earn a certain amount of money or income. So I don't know, but I do commend The Weeknd for taking that bold step. It reminds me of Prince. Remember when he took that step and said, slave was who he was, and he became a symbol.
Think about Ice Cube and Warner Brothers because of that. But like you said, Lori, with Prince, which is what made me think about Ice Cube.
And you know who else?
What is the Ice Cube Warner Brothers story? I don't know that one.
Let me see if I can pull it up on TMZ. So somebody else speak about something real quick while I do my research. So Lori,
you know who else did something that I thought was really good? Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah, when he made his
he did really good. He hung in there. Everybody stopped looking at his special and he got his stuff back. That's the way to do. You have to
search. Here's my search.
He never backed down, so I'm glad for him.
Okay, we got it.
Okay.
Over the weekend, Ice Cube took to Instagram and alleged that Warner Brothers will no longer be continuing the Friday film franchise. And that's hashtag Free Friday from the jaws of Warner Brothers, who refuses to make more sequels. He wrote alongside a cartoon of the film's cast. They have hijacked the happiness of the culture. Friday marked Ice Cube's screenwriting debut, as you all know, back in 1995, and followed the story of Craig, played by Ice Cube, Smokey, played by Chris Tucker, so on and so forth. But the rapper's post on Instagram recently falls under a series of teases made over the last decade regarding follow-ups of the 1995 Friday and its two subsequent films, Next Friday, released in 2000, and Friday After Next in 2002. So they're not going to give it up. Warner Brothers is like, no, I'm not giving it to you. You know what I'm saying? Because it goes
That
on.
does sound
The article
Prince
does
story,
go into
right?
it. Does. That's why I've said it. It reminds me of the Prince story. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So they're not. And like Chris, it just goes back to what you're saying. These people hold the power. And then it also took me back to perhaps maybe Ice Cube's position with 45. You know what I'm saying? Could that be a reason? Or is it just, again, the power struggle? Is it just the plantation party, if you will, Chris? You see what I'm saying?
I mean, in fact, also the actual passing of John Witherspoon, kind of may have, it could play a part in that since he was an actual prominent figure. He was.
But he wasn't the storyline, Rashid.
Well, in fact, well,
what you mean, Rashid?
John Witherspoon, he was an actual prominent figure in the Friday films as Craig's dad.
So is that a reason to do it for Warner Brothers to promote, to allow it, or to not because these people have deceased? Tiny, Big Worm's gone, Daddy's gone. I'm not Big Worm, forgive me. Debo's gone and Dad's gone.
Right, and it's like it would be. In fact, I see it as a way to actually impact the actual writing of the script but at the same time, it's like, if you're a script writer, you can easily write around, how, such and such,
Right.
I'm gonna pass away.
I see your viewpoint. I mean, because you could also do like a back and forth in time. I don't know.
Right.
But it ain't happening right now, guys. That's what I want you to know.
I see. Maybe it's another way to curtail a black man's wealth, huh?
Would you think?
Good.
Wow. Like, don't even get it twisted, player. You still got your foot on the neck.
Exactly.
I guess the knowing of the place.
We are the WB, and you're not making us the WB money. So I'm sorry, honey.
Yeah.
But that money
you
looking
can
funny.
move it, Lord. You got to move it.
If you ain't on my agenda, you can't pass me up.
Chris, this is so true. I don't know, guys. I've had a good time here on the Poetry of Justice show on Yikes Radio and Accelerated. What about you, Rashid? Did you have a good night tonight?
Yeah, definitely had a great night. It was actually pretty fun.
I know, right? Just us, just kind of chilling, right?
Yeah.
I know. See you, Lori. Worked out as always, Issy.
As always, definitely.
Special always to you, Chris. God bless you and thank you. Chris, you've been rolling with us the whole time, Sissy. This is just what we do, ladies. Saturday nights is just what we do. We've had it big, small, good, tall. We've had it all, y'all, here on Yikes Radio, here at Accelerated. This is definitely a good place, Miss Sissy. Someplace called home on Saturday nights for 2 hours.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Next week are the amazing ladies of the chat, Rashid. Can you believe it? They're coming back.
Oh man, it's already the third week.
It's already the third week. Yikes. And then I've got a big surprise coming for us at the end of the month. We've got the real facts coming on the show, but I'm going to start working on our ads this week, guys. So, and Chris and everybody. So we're going to have a good time. We're going to have some more powerful shows as we always do here on the Poetry of Justice show. Laura, you have an outro for us tonight? Beautiful.
I don't, other than, March is Women's Awareness Month. So we are celebrating the life and legacy of women. So Chris, I invite you to join us as always on the chat. And we're going to have a young writer who is doing just that. She's celebrating the power of the woman. So I think it'll be a fun time. She's got 2 books that were recently released, and we'll have a chance to talk with her about those and chat it up a bit.
Wow.
Nice,
Have a fun,
nice.
a good time. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for all your help and time and dedication to the show. Thank you so much, Rashid.
All right.
All right.
Not a
Y'all
problem.
ready? Y'all ready?
Thank you guys.
Let's do it, guys. We're ready to go. Have a good night. Bless you guys.
Have a great week.
Let's do
Bye-bye.
it. Good night.